Here is something nobody tells you when you start lifting. You walk into the gym, you do your warm-up sets, 2 sets of 10, feels good, blood flowing, you are warmed up. Then you load up your working weight. You do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and the last set, you feel the burn, you feel the pump, you leave thinking you trained hard. But here is the truth. Those warm-up reps, they did almost nothing for your muscle growth. Your first few working reps, not doing much. It's your last 2 to 3 reps, the ones where the speed of movement slows down, where you actually have to fight not to give up. Those are the reps building your physique. And most people, they stop right before they get there. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your last reps matter more than everything that came before them. And more importantly, how to know if you are actually training hard enough for muscles to grow. Let me tell you what I see when I review client training videos. They stop abruptly when the movement speed, aka tempo, is still relatively fast. They rack the weight when they could have done 4 or 5 more reps. They are nowhere near actual failure. So here is a set one of my clients sent me last week. Watch the movement speed on the last rep. You see that? There was no change in speed or there was no sign of struggle. That repetition looked exactly like rep number 3. That tells me she had at least 3 to 4 reps left in the tank, maybe more. Now, there is nothing wrong with this client. She is not lazy. She's not avoiding hard work. She doesn't know what training close to failure actually feels like. And most people don't, because nobody teaches this. Your trainer tells you 3 sets of 10, you do 3 sets of 10, you check the box, you think you trained. But if those 10s were easy and you could have done 15, you did not train. You moved the weight around. Let me explain why this matters. And I'm going to keep this simple because most coaches overcomplicate this. Muscle growth happens when you create enough mechanical tension on the muscle fiber. But here is the key. Not all reps create equal impact. Your first few repetitions are easy reps. Your body is smart. It only recruits the minimum number of muscle fibers required to move the weight. Why waste energy, right? So on rep 1, rep 2, rep 3, you're using probably 40 to 50% of your available muscle fibers. The weight moves fast, movement speed is relatively high, it feels easy, but as you fatigue, your body has to recruit more and more muscle fibers to keep moving the weight. By rep 7, rep 8, you are using 80 to 90%. By your last hard rep, the one where the tempo automatically slows down, where you really have to push, you're recruiting almost everything. And that's called high threshold motor unit recruitment. And this is why your last reps matter more. Those are the reps where you are actually recruiting and creating enough tension on the muscle fibers that leads to growth. Your warm-up reps, not recruiting much. Your first few working reps, still not recruiting everything. Your last 2 to 3 hard reps before true failure, that's where the magic happens. Now, some people hear this and think, okay, so I should train to absolute failure every single set. No. What I'm saying is you need to get close to failure. Close enough that last few reps are actually hard. And that brings me to a concept that will change how you train. And that is the RIR concept. Reps in reserve. It's called RIR. Reps in reserve. It's how many reps you have left in the tank when you stop the set. Let me give you examples. So let's say you do a set of 10. You could have done 15, but you stopped at 10. That's RIR, 5 reps in reserve. You do a set of 8. You could have done maybe 10. That's RIR 2. You do a set of 12, and on rep 12, you barely get the weight up. That you couldn't do another rep. So that was RIR 0. That's true failure. for muscle growth, you want to be training somewhere between RIR 0 and RIR 3. Meaning, you should stop your set when you have 0 to 3 reps left. Anything beyond RIR 3, so stopping when you could do 4, 5, 6 more reps, you're leaving a lot on the table. But here is the problem. Most people are terrible at judging their RIR. They think they are at RIR 2, but actually they are at RIR 5. They think they trained hard, but they did not. Beginners, even intermediates, they consistently overestimate how close to failure they are. They stop a set and say, I had maybe 1 or 2 more reps. You film it, you watch it back, they had 5 or 6 more reps. And this is why I make all my clients film their set of every exercise. Not for me to their form. I do that, but so that they can see what RIR 1 or RIR 2 actually looks like. Because if you're training at RIR 5, RIR 6, week after week, and you can do that for years and your physique won't budge. You will be the person who says, I go to the gym 5 days a week, I track my food, I do everything right, but I still look average. So the problem isn't your genetics. The problem is you're not training hard enough. You're training loud, but you're not training close to failure. Okay, so what do you actually do with this information? Here is how I program this with my clients. Step 1 is learn what failure feels like. Pick the exercise, something safe, leg press or machine chest press or lat pull down. Do a set to absolute failure, RIR 0. Go until you physically cannot complete another rep with good form. Film it, watch it back. Now you know what failure looks like and feels like. You know what that last rep feels like. How that movement slows down. How you have to grind hard. Step 2 is train with intent, not effort. Most of your sets don't need to go to absolute failure. In fact, most need not. But they need to get close and really close. Here is what I tell my clients. Your working set of every exercise should be 0 to 1. Meaning you should stop when you have probably 1 rep left. Some of the sets can be RIR 2 or 3, but it should feel hard. But you need to experience those sets. You should feel hard, but should not be completely smoked out or have that fear that the weight will fall on you. So if you're doing 3 sets of an exercise, what you will do is you will start the set with a warm-up set. And set 1,
do not count this set.
Once the warm-up sets are done, you will pick a weight that you can take to failure. Once you understand the failure, you can then set that you want to train somewhere between 0 to 2 RIR. Step 3, film your working set. This is non-negotiable for my clients. You can't judge your own intensity accurately. Nobody can. Film your working set, watch it back, ask yourself, did the tempo slow down? Did I grind? Or did the last rep move the same speed as rep 3? Now, if it moved the same speed, you stopped too early. Look, I know this feels uncomfortable at first. You're used to stopping when it gets difficult, when it feels hard. But feeling hard and being actually hard are not the same thing. The pump feels hard, the burn feels hard, but those aren't necessarily what builds muscle. Mechanical tension, proximity to failure builds muscle. And you only get enough tension when you recruit enough muscle fibers. And you only recruit enough muscle fibers when you get close to failure. So if you want your effort to actually show on your physique, you have to get comfortable with the last hard rep. Let me cover the mistakes I see people make when they try to apply this. Mistake number 1, confusing soreness with proximity to failure. You do a set, your quads are burning, you stop, you think you went hard, but burning doesn't mean you were actually close to failure. It means you accumulated metabolites. So don't stop because it burns. Stop when you can't do another rep with good form. Mistake 2, going to failure on every set. Now, some people hear this and think, okay, every set to failure. No, you will trash yourself, your recovery will go off, your performance will drop. You won't be able to accumulate enough volume over time. So keep your set somewhere between 1 to 3 RIR. Your last set can go to RIR 0. Now, mistake 3, using terrible form to get more reps. So proximity to failure doesn't really mean proximity to injury, right? If your form breaks down, the set is over. I don't care if you think you have another rep in your tank. Good form until you can't. Then you stop. Mistake number 4, not tracking your load. Not tracking how you have been lifting over time. If you have been doing the same load for same number of repetitions, same amount of load for 3-4 weeks, you are not pushing hard enough. There has to be progressive overload. What people do is they pick a lighter load in set 1, and then they pick a heavier load in set 2, and then pick heaviest load in set 3. And they intentionally under-train in set 1 and set 2 to save their energy for set 3, and they only train to failure or close to failure in set 3, and they call it progressive overload. This is not. Progressive overload is over time, over a few weeks. You will only be able to figure that out if you track your workouts. You track how many repetitions you do, how much weight did you pick the last time, so that the next time you at least add a repetition or a load. My sweet spot is add 3 to 5 reps to the same load before you add another load, because adding load every single week might be possible for somebody new, but somebody who has been training long enough, it will be very hard. So I would prefer to add repetitions. Once I have added 4 or 5 repetitions to the same load, I would increase the load and recount it. Track your workouts. Hope this helps.